All right, let's see this fucking Nick Shirley.
So normally and
response.
historically, my policy for whenever somebody's saying some factually inaccurate stuff about me online is to turn the other cheek, keep my head down, and get back to grinding. But in this case with Mr. Nick Shirley, who is now falsely accusing me of conducting an unfairly edited interview, I think I'm going to pick option 2 and let people know what went down. Journalistic integrity is something that I kind of take a little bit seriously, and I can see a future wherein access is limited to prominent people, especially conservatives, if I don't dispel this false narrative immediately in its entirety right the heck now. So to do this right, I'll have to show you a couple of things, including text messages between him and I, and actual footage of the working Premiere sequence that I used to edit the interview so you can see what was cut and why. So let's begin with an editing lesson. So when we're dealing with a long-form interview of somebody who talks very slowly and circles back to repetitive talking points, one of the first things that we do in post-production is cutting what's called dead air, which means long pauses between words or sentences, or fixable verbal stammers that slow down the conversation and risk boring the viewer. So in this raw interview with Nick, which had a total runtime of 2 hours and 2 minutes, we had to cut nearly half an hour of dead air to make it listenable. Many people like to choose their words carefully, so I get it, but there was a couple points in the interview that even in person we had to have Nick repeat himself because the crew felt that no amount of corrective editing would possibly be able to make him sound normal.
It's been an interesting few days, past 72 hours. My video on the expose of the fraud in Minnesota is the most viewed video ever, longer than 10 minutes, other than Mr. Beast.
Can you say the fraud in Minnesota again? Because you kind of stuttered.
Yeah. Oh, wait, are there going to be cuts in this, or just going to be one take?
Which will make it perfect. So if we ask for to say it again, it's just to make sure you say it perfectly.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, so my video on the fraud in Minnesota is the most viewed video ever by a creator, longer than 10 minutes, expose style, than anybody other than the name of Mr. Beast.
So bear with me here. I'm going to show you the raw footage, and we'll see how with the magic of editing, we were able to make Nick sound actually smarter and faster than he was in person. Check this out. How does that make you feel, like gratification-wise, as an independent journalist?
Well, I think it's the first video you've seen in a long time where a journalist actually went and created a video that created a change instantaneously. For instance, you had the HHS, Health and Human Services. They froze all funding to childcare inside of Minnesota and then they're asking for businesses to prove that they are legit businesses before they give tax dollars to these businesses that are not really businesses.
How does that make you feel, like gratification-wise, as an independent journalist?
Well, I think it's the first video you've seen in a long time where a journalist actually went and created a video that created a change instantaneously. For instance, you had the Health and Human Services. They froze all funding to childcare inside of Minnesota, and then they're asking for businesses to prove that they are legit businesses before they give tax dollars to these businesses.
Why did this fucking guy literally come out and say, "You slandered my good reputation"? Oh my Lord, dude. I mean, I assumed it was even dumber, but I didn't. God, he is so fucking stupid. It truly is ableist to offer him a platform where he will make a fool of himself. Like, I think it is unironically ableist to make fun of Nick Shirley.
So in that interview, we probably did that same thing as far as trimming dead air and splicing B-roll. No joke, probably 30 times, as you can see here on the timeline. And it was never to take him out of context, but to help him get his point across. We do this for every good faith interview or 5-cast we've conducted so far. From Hunter Biden, which had a raw runtime of 5 hours before being cut to 3:24, to Hunter Kozak, to Alex Jones, to Hamilton Morris, Janet DeSanti, to pretty much everybody we've ever talked to.
Exactly. 100% not. Is that and there's this conflation that people have. I mean, I think they're opening up an investigation to cocaine that was found in a cubby outside the West Wing of the White House.
We aren't live streamers or live podcasters, and we like to package our interviews for efficiency and entertainment value. So that's just something that we do. So the other cuts in the Nick Shirley interview that weren't dead air related were conversational beats that I personally found either boring.
That one tweet was right. He's the only Mormon born with Faz. Brother, I think there's more than one Mormon born with Faz. Like, I'm going to be honest. But yeah, Fast Baby is correct. You're not wrong about that assessment. I think.
Repetitive or so off topic to the point that they derailed the conversation away from its intended focus, which was fraud in Minnesota and Shirley's personal background. We cut probably 20.
Said yikes. Fast fetal alcohol syndrome.
5 minutes of unproductive, redundant banter about Portland, Mormonism, gay marriage, his new crypto coin. I heard you also made a coin of some kind.
I did not. Well, I didn't make a coin. I just joined a platform where you can monetize your content. And there actually, so yeah, it is a coin. You can then monetize your content, just similar to like how you upload on TikTok. You can upload your stuff on there. It's just based off Coinbase.
The history and ethics of welfare in America, and 6 whole, nearly identical back and forths about his 89% statistic that he falls back on unchallenged.
89% of the fraud is being committed by Somalians, and 89% of the fraud being committed inside Minnesota is by the Somalian population. 89% of the fraud.
This is such a fucking inappropriate way to game out statistics, for the record. 89% comes from a total fucking fabrication. One, it's one of the very few federal cases that the state of Minnesota has had. Okay. And because there are 94 co-defendants, 94 Somali co-defendants, okay, saying, as the Republican that came out with the statistic on Fox News falsely presented, saying that like, oh, Somalis are responsible for 89% of all crimes committed since like 2020 is ridiculous. Yes, post 2020, the major COVID fraud that was prosecuted was the Amy Bach, white woman by the way, led Feeding the Children charity scandal. And a lot of the co-defendants in that case that got charged and convicted were Somali. That's since 2020. Do you know how many federal fraud investigations have been conducted in the state since 2020? Not that many.
Happening by people who were brought into our country and then committing fraud. So 89% of the fraud happening in Minnesota is from the Somalian population.
Right, but 95% of Somali Americans in Minnesota are legal.
Yeah, 89% of Somalians are committing fraud.
Since we ended up including an extensive dialogue about that stat around the 50-minute mark of the final cut, I personally didn't feel the need to torture.
The 89% number specifically refers to a claim made in independent journal's viral video with Somali American woman and blah, 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 they commit. In summary, while the Somali American communities have been disproportionately represented among the defendants in a few massive high-profile federal fraud cases, the total fraud, this figure relates to specific high-profile cases, but there's no official data. Yeah, I know where that came from. This is like an AI summarization. I'm explaining to you what the actual summarization is.
For all of you guys.
I don't know what this fucking AI summarization is, but the 89% number basically comes from what I just described to you. One guy on Fox News randomly says, oh, since 2020, Somalis are responsible for 89% of all the fraud that was committed in the state of Minnesota. This is not correct.
Of the fraud being committed in Minnesota.
Okay, we get it. He says it a lot.
Them in 4K when I got back from Greenland, you will see exactly what I mean. This is not a Sacha Baron Cohen style ambush edit or a Jim Jeffries Avi Yemeni situation where I primed him, by saying crazy shit to get his guard down and then Shanghai him with post-production. I was trying to help Nick Shirley, which it seems up until yesterday he really appreciated. So after the interview came out about a week ago, he texted me right after saying the backdrop of this interview is hilarious. It was filmed in his uncle's upscale game room in Farmington, Utah, in front of several taxidermied bears that were presumably killed by the Shirley family. He goes on to say, fun watching the reaction from both sides. Appreciate you coming out.
I don't think you have fun watching the reaction from both sides.
To which I replied kindly. But then the Clippers started doing the thing that they do counter Biden, finding the most outrageous or dumb soundbite in the entire piece and memeing it into oblivion while missing the entire point of the dialogue, which was to try to find common ground on issues like affordability and the collapse of the mainstream media. I mean, I fundamentally hope that everything you're saying is true, just so you know.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah,
I hope we all have the best interest in society and for our people, because
yeah.
Andrew's too charitable, dude. Look. I think he revealed what his reason for making this video was in the beginning when he said if people consider to me, if people consider me to be a dangerous like left propagandist, then I'm not going to be able to get fucking sound bites off of people. Okay, that's the reason why he's doing this video. That's the reason why he's saying, "Oh God,
The affordability
I need
is
to be
insane.
charitable to
People
everybody."
can't buy houses, and if we're talking about creating change, we need to let innovation prosper inside the United States.
Yeah.
And you're not seeing it.
If he didn't operate like the way that he does currently, you wouldn't get the fucking sound bites that you're getting. It's not access journalism at all. You're wrong. It's not. It's not access journalism at all.
We're not seeing innovation. In fact, we're seeing fraudsters take our money.
If you guys saw, the clip that did the most rounds was when Nick tried and failed to pronounce the word benevolent. Who do you think are the 3 most benevolent billionaires?
What do you mean by the word benevolent?
Just well-intentioned, positive billionaires who you think are creating, net positive societal progress.
Trump? Our president?
Because he never said it right and said benevolent twice, there was no way to cut the dead air or trim the stammer. So we left it in. And personally, I don't think it's that big of a deal to not know that word. I mean, he is wearing a hoodie that is making fun of immigrants for their spelling errors, but benevolent has more syllables than learning, so I get it. But the comments on this clip were brutal, like actually genuinely mean, and it couldn't have felt good from his perspective to read these things. We're talking tens of thousands of people.
He doesn't know how to read, big dog. Don't worry. I don't think he's reading any of that. His mommy is probably sheltering him from all the negative commentary surrounding his video. So I don't think he saw any of that. And even if he did, I don't think he knows how to read. So he's going to be fine.
Declaring this guy is retarded, which he's not. But there are some moments in the interview that even
Okay, maybe he's laying it on a little too thick here, okay?
Even with dead air trimmed for speed, Nick does not give his best performance, particularly when blaming immigrants for rising rent prices.
It's just simple supply and demand. If you have 20 million people who need to come and buy a house or rent an apartment, and you have other people who need it, you're going to raise the prices.
Suggesting that Muslim Americans keep multiple wives in private while dismissing the association with his own religion, Mormonism, and polygamy as just a harmful stereotype. As far as the wives go, that's not a thing in Utah?
It's not a thing in Utah.
That's a negative stereotype?
Negative stereotype.
And also confronting me about staying silent on the death of Charlie Kirk, while admitting that he consciously chose to not watch the video that I made in the immediate aftermath of it.
And so I thought that was kind of messed up of you to not publicly denounce what happened to Charlie Kirk.
I did.
And I didn't even watch the interview because I didn't want to watch that.
Well, you should watch it.
I don't want to.
Well, you should watch the video.
No! No! I don't want to. You made me feel bad. Because I imagine you didn't say anything. And I'm still mad about how I felt. That's a perfect demonstration of how right-wingers operate, dude. I mean, come on. Come on.
Say some stuff in it.
Okay, cool.
None of these moments were a very good look for Nick, but I did not engineer them that way. And if I was a betting man, I would suggest that much of the hostility displayed toward him in the comments is because his reporting, which was signal boosted by Trump and his cronies, has been a driving factor in ICE's decision to escalate their presence in Minneapolis.
Bro, that's someone's son. Dog, I have just as much smoke for her demon mother, too. Okay? That hellspawn was developed somewhere. Okay? Fuck you mean? Yeah, fuck them both. Him and his dumbass mom who drives him around everywhere and went to prom with him. The fuck?
Kidnapping kids from local high schools, terrorizing U.S. citizens in their own communities, shooting people in the streets, and hiding behind masks like the goddamn cowards they are. However, that's just my personal opinion. I don't like ICE. I don't like Trump, which is something that I made clear to Nick in the interview.
What do you think about Trump?
I don't like him. There was no deception anywhere. But sometimes, and I'm not sure what the word is for this in the journalism field, the person that you interview views your fans as an extension of you. So if your fans are dicks to them, they kind of feel like that's you shading them. And that's definitely what happened. Right after the benevolent clip went micro-viral, Nick began to send texts to me that alluded to the footage being manipulated, writing, "Greenland will be epic and cold. Let me know if you need any locals. I still have some contacts there. Just curious though, why didn't you post a full 2+ hour interview instead of the selected 1 hour of the interview? Notice the word selected. Nick suggests that I cherry-picked his worst moments, which is concerning because we consciously did the opposite. But as you can see from these texts, I explained our entire editing process.
Yeah, by the way, this is not him talking to Nick. This is him talking to Nick's mom. Just so we're clear. I am still going with Nick Shirley does not know how to read or write. He is illiterate. I think this is Nick's mom.
Him, as I did to all of you, and as I mentioned, even offered to send him all of the raw video files when I get home from Greenland, which I'm doing now, and gave him full permission to clip any and all moments of the piece for his own socials. Fast forward to 2 days later. I wake up in Nuuk, Greenland to see that Nick has posted the video filmed on a side camera, captioned something like, "In case you guys want to know how the interview really went, here's this." Nick's bullshit crybaby video here points to 2 pieces of damning evidence. Exhibit A. Nick grills me here about Democrat cities being catastrophic failures after failing to understand that I am not a supporter of the Democrat Party. I am from Seattle, a failed blue city, and then asks me to name thriving blue cities. So I named Austin, Nashville, El Paso, and then while smirking, I mentioned Denver because as shown in Nick's angle, I didn't actually know if Denver was doing well because I don't spend much time in Colorado.
Like, when have you seen an American city? What American city is prospering right now?
Austin.
Austin. Name another one.
El Paso, Texas.
Name another one. You know so many city good. You name city names so good. Name more city. Are you God? Why do you know so many city name? Can you name another city name? I need mommy tell me city names when I go to sleep.
Texas.
El Paso, Texas is prospering.
Yeah, I think.
Why you think?
It's doing better. New bars and restaurants have opened, but I can probably think of some better examples.
Like what?
Nashville's doing good. Austin's doing good. Phoenix is doing good. Basically, any place with low state tax is getting a lot of.
In any place that's not Democrat.
I don't know about that. I mean,
name a Democrat city that's prospering right now.
Well, it would have to be one that's affordable.
Name one.
A city.
It's ironic, but it's Minneapolis. Like literally, Minneapolis is, before this last round of like federal punishments, is straight up one of the best cities in America, one of the most thriving cities in the United States of America. Isn't that fucking crazy? Like, Donald Trump is punishing a blue city in a blue state for not voting for him, and they were doing fine. They were doing great, as a matter of fact. They were doing much better than major blue metros that are not doing fine because of the fucking insane influence of the real estate lobby, making it impossible to live there. So much so that while we were talking about the mayoral race that was going on, shouts out to Omar Fateh, there were conversations in this chat between me and another chatter saying, well, affordability is not as big as a problem in Minneapolis because the Minneapolis has actually been pretty on the ball under the leadership of Jacob Fry, regardless of all the other problems, and they've built quite a bit. They've built quite a bit of housing and keeping prices relatively affordable in comparison to other major metropolitan areas.
Inside of a blue state that is prospering. Denver.
Why are you smirking?
Because I don't know if it's prospering or
Because
not.
it's not.
I'm just
See, you can't even answer the question, dude. It's
I don't know.
Why is he getting so mad?
not prospering. Denver's not prospering either.
But in post-production, I did some research and found out that my intuition was correct. Denver.
Did you make that face because you think Seattle is not a failed blue city? Yes, I don't. I think people grossly over-exaggerate how poorly blue cities are doing in this fucking country, especially when they're some of the best places to live, which is part of the fucking problem, ironically enough. It's gross and it fucking pisses me off. Have you been to one of these like fucking forgotten towns in this goddamn country? What the fuck are you talking about? Go to Springfield, Ohio, okay? The reason why I'm bringing up Springfield, Ohio is because it's one of those forgotten towns, and it got a high amount of Haitian migrants that came into the town and actually helped it grow by quite a bit, okay? Springfield, Ohio is one of these forgotten towns. If you go to any number of different cities around this country, okay, that were basically abandoned, you will understand in comparison to like these major metropolitan areas, they're in a far worse condition overall. What's to make matters worse, like people talk about Chinese tier 1 cities and go, oh, why don't you go to a rural area to fucking see what it's like? It's like, bitch, I've been to rural areas in America too, okay? Let me tell you, their fucking tier 1 cities are better than our major metropolitan cities, and their rural areas are also developing at a rapid clip, okay? Every city, large or small, in the United States of America, every town, large or small, in the United States of America is on a downtrend. Do you understand? So yes, while major metropolitan areas are in a state of dire disrepair, okay, so are many rural towns. Also, what is that old saying? Yeah, thank God for Mississippi. Exactly.
Is currently experiencing a decline in violence and property crime, a large influx in population, job growth in the aerospace, tech, and healthcare sectors, and a number of other great things. So I chose to trim a brief section after I mentioned Denver that indicates a bit of self-doubt, given that I ended up being correct. I also trimmed a soundbite where I said that many Democrat cities are run poorly because it was redundant.
Name one. Name one. Philadelphia, Boston, New York City, Los Angeles. These are great cities to live in. What the fuck are you talking about? Minneapolis, as I already mentioned. Chicago. Chicago's fucking beautiful. New York City is shit. Boston is trash. Okay, guys. There's good and the bad. I was just in Detroit. Detroit is fucking awesome too. Like, the thing is, a lot of these places could be more livable, okay? They could be much nicer. They could be more livable. A lot of that stems from the corrosive influence of the real estate lobby, where they keep the inventory low so that the homeowners, which oftentimes comprise like 60% of the population and certainly are overrepresented in the voter eligible population, the ones that do actually go out and vote, homeowners, want all of their fucking net worth to be associated with their housing, because housing is no longer just shelter, but instead people's livelihood. They take mortgages out, or they used to, not anymore. Now the interest rates are crazy, but they used to take mortgages out, okay? And it's their leverage. For many of these people, they only know the price of housing going up. Their entire lives revolve around the price of housing going up. So if the price of housing goes down because there's now, more readily available inventory, for example, okay, then all of a sudden, a lot of these people who perceive themselves to be like upper middle class individuals, people with a nest egg or whatever, are going to be poorer in comparison. This is the major problem. I say crash the housing market, for the record. I think, or not crash the housing market, but like burst the housing bubble and let 1 million houses bloom, okay? Let 1 million units bloom, make all different types of affordable housing, make government housing, okay? To change the housing market in this country. It'd be fucking awesome. Decommodify housing.
After our conversation about Denver, I then launched into a tirade about how I am not a Democrat, don't believe in the capacity of the two-party system to enact meaningful change, believe that Gavin Newsom has misappropriated California's tax revenue through NGOs, reinforce my belief in voting on the local level, and then give Nick the benefit of the doubt and say that I hope he's right about Trump and the GOP's ability to mitigate the affordability crisis that's made many places like my hometown, Seattle, unlivable for those who grew up there. So I support.
Featuring Erica Kirk, confirmed speaker, Make Heaven Crowded. Bro, why do they call it Make Heaven Crowded? It almost feels like a cult, like they're all going to drink the Kool-Aid and die. Isn't that weird? That's a weird ass fucking name for a tour. Oh, that's what he said too. Do we set up a big ass Kool-Aid stand outside the venue?
For voting on a local level for sure. I also suggest if you're watching this and you want to see videos that I've made about dysfunctional blue cities, watch San Francisco.
Wait, did you just say, wouldn't you not go to heaven if you commit suicide? Brother, you think any Republican that's a part of Turning Point USA is going to heaven? Are you out of your fucking mind? I don't think suicide is the least of their worries, okay? If heaven and hell is real, let me fucking tell you something. Ain't no Republican is going to heaven, okay? Are you kidding me? They're all going to fucking hell, big dog. Their entire political output is about harming others. Why the fuck do you think they're going to heaven anyway? They're going to hell. They're going to super hell. If heaven and hell are real, they're going to hell forever, permanently.
Streets, Albuquerque streets, Las Vegas tunnels, and Philly streets. So the second clip that Nick posted really makes my blood boil because it is so disingenuous. As I mentioned 6 or 7 times in this interview, Nick references the stat that 89% of fraud in Minnesota is committed by Somalis. We aired the version where we asked him to show us the data on his phone, which he found using Google search results powered by ChatGPT. So in the video he posted, you can see me look in the camera after he shows it to me and saying something like, "All right, damn, I guess he's right then. Let's put that on screen."
Here, right here, the figure 89% does not represent the total percentage of all fraud in Minnesota. Instead, it refers to the percentage of individuals charged in connection with specific high-profile federal fraud cases. Millions.
89% of those charged in connection with major... Wow.
Identified as Somalian Americans.
Well, looks like
I'm interested to see what you put in this interview because
looks like there is a problem with fraud. He is kind of right. However, the stat refers specifically to the already litigated Feeding Our Future case, which resulted in over 60 fraud convictions in Minnesota. The ringleader of the nonprofit behind the scam, Amy Bach, is white, but it is true that 89% of convicted defendants in that case were Somali. And that's what makes me so pissed about this.
I think that's the only federal fraud case they've prosecuted in the fucking state of Minnesota. That's why this stat is fucking irrelevant. It's one singular case. Like saying 89% of Somalis commit fraud is a psychotic extrapolation from this number. It's just not even... That's not how anything works. That's not how stats work. It's like taking a snapshot of this of the the Southern District of New York court cases and saying like Donald Trump is 100% of the fraud cases that were committed on that day, you know, or charged on that day. It's like, okay, sure. That's not how this works at all. Yeah, it's like saying 100% of the people who murdered OJ's wife were not convicted.
Particular piece of evidence that Nick presents. The exact thing that he is showing me on his phone in the video is what I put.
Like there are 20 cases or 20,000 cases. How many 89 is those? It's one. It's one. It's the only one. That's the only fucking major case that the federal government prosecuted. The Department of Justice prosecuted.
On screen on the final cut, I did exactly what I said I would. He frames my decision to put that on screen as some kind of like liberal ball-busting fact check, but it's actually supplemental context for something he is literally fucking showing me, which is why it pisses me off. So that's all I have to say. I'm just in a phase in my life where I've been doing this for so long and I care about this so much, so I don't want to play these kind of games.
That's such a terrible way to twist statistics. I mean, this not even, you can't even consider that to be statistics at that point. This is New Age 1350 shit, the same misrepresenting a statistic for racist propaganda. Yes, Sean, you are right. However, it's even dumber because we have become dumber as a country. Because at least with the 1350 shit, the twisting of statistics is, it comes from misunderstanding what conviction and clearance rates look like. And you're just presenting arrest rates or arrest numbers without factoring any of that other stuff to make it seem like it's something different. With 89%, you're just looking at one fucking case, dude. One case, like it's crazy. Our races are getting dumber, is what I'm saying. This is kind of what I was talking about with Nick Shirley's commentary in general, where like back in the day, at least like James O'Keefe would put a little bit of effort, right? Can you explain the 1350 thing? Yes, 13% of the population is black, and racists will always channel this their racist sentiment by saying 13% of the population is black, but they make up 50% of the crime. This is not true. Okay, this is completely untrue. Number one, black communities are over-policed. Black communities not only are over-policed, but as a consequence of being over-policed, black communities end up getting arrested at higher rates. Not only that, but also the number that we're looking at, the 50% number, is from FBI stats from, I forget exactly when, but FBI stats that show arrest numbers, okay? Black people are more likely to be racially profiled, more likely to receive higher sentence. There's a sentencing disparity. I saw what happened the day before MLK Day, by the way. FD did not approve. Okay, but he shocked me too, to be fair. I also got shocked. I did shock Arky a lot more. I know. It was messed up. I didn't realize how it looked. It was a bad look. It wasn't good. Yes, the statistic that we're talking about is based on arrests, not convictions. Not only are black people over prosecuted and receive much longer sentences, not only are black communities over policed, okay? But on top of that, these are simply arrest numbers. An arrest does not fucking mean that this person was charged or convicted. Okay? That's the reason why the 1350 number is bullshit. Having said that, this is even dumber than that, because the 89%, like if that case did not have like 60 co-conspirators that were charged and prosecuted and arrested and convicted, and instead had 10 co-conspirators and 8 of them happen to be Somali, you could still say 80% of the people that were arrested and prosecuted were Somali. It's just ridiculous. It's one case.
Especially with people who can't take an L and want to put my credibility on the line by spinning things in a way that benefits their reputation.
He literally went out of his way to try and make me look bad, which is not cool. And I wouldn't say that's like very benevolent of him to do.
I think my policy moving forward, especially when working with people who are filming their own versions of things and lack the integrity to be honest